loud and clear on your side there. All right, so simply waiting for you guys to simply join and let me know how we are. So good evening, guys. This evening we are simply looking at another biology paper 2 paper, and this is 2018 paper we are looking at today. This is for internal candidates. All right, so if you are logged in, let me know. Just drop a comment in the comment section. I'll be able to see if we are loud and clear. All right, good evening, guys. So just waiting for at least 10 of you guys to be there so that at least we can get started. So this evening we'll look at biology paper 2 for 2018 for internal candidates. So this was the grade 12 paper which was written. Alright, so if you are logged in, let me know. If everything is clear on the end, the video is fine, so that at least we are able to move on and look at this paper today. Alright, good evening to you too. Alright, good evening. Welcome to the stream. Okay, good to know you're logged in. Okay. Alright, so simply waiting for at least 10 so that we can get into the paper. So we are looking at biology paper 2 for 2089. Okay. Alright, we are at 4 now. Alright, just waiting for more members to join so that we can get started. Okay, so just to check the sound check. How's the sound? How's the video? Okay, good evening to you, Jeff. Okay, Loveness, good evening. Hannah, good evening. Kayumbi, good evening to you too. Okay, very good. Alright, so just waiting for 10 more to join, then we can get started. Alright, we are currently 10 viewers here. Okay, that's good. So before I get started, I go to the video. Let me just before I go to the question paper, just let me know how is the audio, how is the sound. Okay, clear, excellent. All right, that's good to know. All right, excellent work. So good evening to you all, guys. Good to have you back. Hope you had a pleasant day, and we are having a good evening so far. Okay, so the shower's sound is coming from the fan, from the computer, from the laptop. So I have no audio yet. So like I mentioned to say, if you guys were able to support, we would buy a better microphone so that you don't have any difficulty with the showering sound coming from the fan, which is blowing from the laptop. Okay, all right, that's good. All right, so let's get into our question paper. So what we are looking at this evening is biology paper 2 for 2018 internal candidates. So let's look at the questions. All right, so we'll start with question number 1. So question number 1 says figure 1.1 and figure 1.2 shows these specialized cells F and E. So we have E and F. So here it says we have the cell labeled G, part G. We have the nucleus. This is figure 1.1. Then we have cell F, which has the nucleus. And question A1 says identify the cell labeled F in figure 1.2. So what is the cell F? Okay, so the question reads figure 1.1 and 1.2 show specialized cells E and F. Question A1, identify the cell labeled F in figure 1.2. Okay, yes guys, what is cell F? Excellent work guys. So cell F, very good. This is the a phagocyte altogether. So cell F is actually a phagocyte, or you can still say white blood cell. So the white blood cells, we have two types. We have phagocytes and the lymphocytes. Those are the ones we concentrate on under this course or syllabus. So we do also have other types, but we will normally refer to as the phagocytes and the lymphocytes. So very good, guys. That is the correct answer. So the correct answer is the phagocyte. Okay. Moving on to question number A2. It says, which feature in the diagram enables you to identify cell F in the A1 above? So which feature enabled you to identify to say this is a phagocyte? Okay. So which feature did you use to identify to say this cell is a phagocyte? Yes, guys, very good. So the figure which we can actually see here is that it has a lobed nucleus. Okay, so when you look at the nucleus, it has lobes. We have this lobe here, we have also another lobe and another lobe. So that is what referred to as phagocytes. So phagocytes have a lobed nucleus. So that is the feature which we use to identify phagocytes. Lymphocytes have a large nucleus. So phagocytes are unique in that these have a lobed nucleus. Excellent work, guys. That is the correct answer. Moving on to B1. B1 says figure 1.1 shows a group of similar cells. What term is used to refer to such a group of cells? So figure 1.1 shows a group of similar cells. What term is used to refer to such a group of cells? So what do we call a group of cells which have the similar structure? Yes, guys, excellent work, guys. So this is what referred to as a tissue. Very good. So a group of cells which have the similar structure and perform the same function is what we call a tissue. Excellent work, guys. That is the correct answer. Moving on to B2, it says suggest a region in the body where figure 1.1 is found. Altogether. So which region of the body do we find these cells? Yes, guys, where are we going to find these cells? So first of all, you have to identify what the cells are. So they are ciliated tissue. Very good. And where do we find ciliated tissue? Okay, so ciliated tissue can actually be found in the two parts of the body. It can be found in the oviduct altogether, in the female reproductive system, and it can also be found in the trachea altogether. So here I'll simply write the trachea. So there are two places it can be found, in the trachea or the oviduct. They are all the correct answer. Very good. So going to number 3. Number 3 says give one function of the part labeled G in figure 1.1. So part G is the cilia. So what is the function of the cilia? So part G is the cilia. So it says here give one function of the part labeled G. Very good, guys. So what's the function of the cilia? So the function of the cilia is simply to sweep mucus out together. So it will be there to sweep the mucus out together out of the respiratory system, because the mucus will be trapping dust and bacteria out together. So once the mucus has trapped the dust and bacteria, it's the function of the ciliated cell to actually sweep. They are actually more like brooms, so they'll be sweeping the mucus out. So if you had mentioned to say oviduct, the function of the ciliated cell in the oviduct is actually to push the egg cell to the uterus. So they will actually be moving so as for them to push the ovum to the uterus so that implantation can take place. Excellent work, guys. That is the correct answer. So the correct answer is simply to sweep out together. So that is how it's able to do. So it will be sweeping the mucus. Excellent work, guys. So that is the correct answer. All right, moving on to question number C1. It says state 2 specialized cells found in plants. So which 2 specialized cells are found in plants? So here the answers are so many. So we can mention any specialized cell, so you don't have to worry about, say, maybe this one is the one they want. So here just mention any 2 specialized cell. Yes, guys. So here the specialized cells are a lot. We have the root hair cell, we have the parasite cell, spongy cell, we have gut cells, epidermal cells, xylem, phloem, cambium. All these are specialized cells. So we only need the 2 cells. So here we can write the root hair cell out together, and this is what we are looking at even yesterday. Then we can also write the parasite cell. Okay, so these are specialized plant cell. Then here it says for one named specialized cell in C1 above, explain its function. Okay, so here we're just going to explain the function of only one. So whichever cell you have mentioned, you are free to give the function altogether, not just go with what I've given as the answers. Mention what the function is altogether. So what will be the function of any of the cells you've mentioned? Very good. So here I'll go for the root hair cell. I'll simply say the function of the root hair cell absorbs the water and mineral salts. So root hair cell absorbs water and mineral salts. If you go for the parasite cell, the parasite cells carries out photosynthesis. Spongy cell will carry out gaseous exchange. Then when you go to gut cells, they will open and close the stomata. If you've gone for phloem cell, they will translocate manufactured food. If you had gone for the xylem cell, those ones will transport water and mineral salts. If you had gone for epidermal cells, they protect the inner parts of the leaves, stems, or roots, or even fruits. So here there were quite a number of answers which you could have written here. So it's very difficult to get this question wrong, isn't it? So we have so many functions. Very good, guys. I can see we have written all the comments very well. Excellent. So that is how we answer this question. Okay, moving on to question number 2. So question number 2 says figure 2.0 shows the alimentary canal of a human being. So we have parts labeled H, J, K, M, and L out together. So these are the parts which we have. Okay, so the question says identify the parts labeled H and J out together. So what are the parts H and J? So parts H and part J. What are these parts? So I hope question 1 was nice and fair. You can see that the question wasn't too tough. All right, so we are now on question number 2. Yes, guys, what is part H and what is part J? Excellent work, guys. Very good. Yes, part J, that is the esophagus. So part J is the esophagus. Sorry, part H is the esophagus and part J is the stomach. So H is the esophagus and the J is the what? The stomach. Very good. So those are the parts. So next it says explain the functions of the parts labeled D, K, and L in digestion. So label the parts labeled D, K, and L in digestion. So here we're looking at part K and part L. Okay. So what is the function of part L and part K in digestion? Yes guys, what will be the function of part J and part L? Very good. So part K is the pancreas and the L is the colon. So here part K, which is the pancreas, the function is to produce pancreatic juice altogether. So to produce pancreatic juice, which is then used for digestion of food in the duodenum altogether. Then L is the colon, and the colon does not do any digestion, but it will be in charge of absorbing water, vitamins, and mineral salts. So the colon absorbs the water, vitamins, and mineral salts. Excellent work, guys. So that is the correct answer. So in case you have any questions, always feel free to leave it in the comment section. Excellent work, guys. That is very good. Please keep it up. Enjoying the energy you are giving in the chat there. Keep up the good work. Excellent work, guys. So we move on to C. So C says label on figure 2.0 the structure where bile is stored with the letter X altogether, and 2 hydrochloric acid is produced with the letter Y altogether. So here we need to go back to our table, our graph. So we are saying X. So we need X where bile is stored in. So where are we storing bile? Then we need our Y altogether. So Y is for where hydrochloric acid is produced, where we're producing hydrochloric acid altogether. So which part will be storing bile, and which part will be producing hydrochloric acid? Yes guys, so which part is it? Very good, excellent work, guys. So very good. So X, bile is stored in the bladder. So from the gallbladder, that's the one where it is going to store bile altogether. Then the stomach is what produces hydrochloric acid. So this will be our part Y altogether. So that is how we label on the diagram. So part X, we are labeling the gallbladder, and the stomach we are labeling it Y because it's a part which produces hydrochloric acid. Okay, very good. So that are the answers for question number C2. Moving on to D1, it says state one metabolic function for the part labeled M. Now together, so the part labeled M, that is the liver. So let's mention one metabolic function, one function of the liver in metabolism. Yes guys, one function of the liver. Yes guys, excellent. So there are so many functions of the liver, metabolic function. One altogether, the liver will actually produce bile altogether. So apart from that, the liver will actually carry out deamination of amino acids. It's able to convert glucose into glycogen. It can also convert glycogen into glucose altogether. So those are metabolic functions. So metabolic functions, apart from that, it can also carry out detoxification. So here I'm simply going to write deamination of excess amino acids. So that is one of the metabolic functions of the liver. It deaminates excess amino acids. Well done guys, that is the correct answer. So I can see there you have written quite a number of metabolic functions of the liver, but here the question was only asking us for one. So any of those functions we mentioned is actually correct. Now going to D2, which is the last question for question number 2. It says describe two elements which can result when structure M is not functioning properly. So when the liver is not working properly, what elements can actually take what place? Yes guys, so when the liver is not functioning properly, what elements will so describe two elements which can result when but M is not working what properly. Very good. So when the liver is not working properly, we are going to have poor bowel formation altogether. So mean that bowel is not going to be produced what properly altogether. Then the other problem which we can also develop is that we can end up having high blood sugar. So there will be high sugar levels or even low sugar levels altogether. Then you can also have high toxins also in the in the body, because remember the function of the liver is to carry out deamination. To carry out detoxification. So it detoxifies, for example, alcohol. It will be breaking down alcohol so that any poisons which are in the body can be removed. So these are among the two elements which can actually result when the structure M, which is the liver, is not functioning normally. We have poor bowel formation and high blood sugar altogether. So this was the end of question number 2. So how was the question? Was it fair? Okay, very good, guys. All right, so we now move on to question number 3. So question number 3 says figure 3.0 summarizes the development process during sexual reproduction in human beings. We have N, P, R, and S. We have processes 1, process 2, process 3. So question A1 says identify the cells labeled N and P. So N and P, what do we call these cells? What is the cell N and what is cell P? Okay, so what is cell N? Cell N, what is it? Very good, guys. So cell N altogether, cell N has no tail, so we are looking at this cell here. So cell N is actually the ovum, which is the egg cell altogether. So we have the ovum plus the sperm cell. This one has a tail, you can see the tail here. So that is the sperm cell. So sperm cell fuses with the egg cell to produce P. So what do we call cell P? Yes, guys, what is cell P? Alright, very good, guys. So cell P is actually a zygote altogether. So when fertilization occurs, what is formed is a fertilized cell, and the fertilized cell is what we call a zygote altogether. So that is the cell P altogether. So cell N is the ovum and cell P is the what? The zygote altogether. Excellent, guys. So that is the correct answer. All right, moving on to A2. So A2 says name processes 1 and 2. Okay, so we want to know what is process 1 and what is process 2. Okay, so what is process 1 and what is process 2? Okay, we start with process 1. Okay, so what is process 1? Yes, guys, what is process 1? Where the egg cell and the sperm cell meet. What is process 1? Very good. So process 1 is the fertilization altogether. So when the egg and the sperm cell fuse to create a single cell, that is what is known as the fertilization altogether. Then after fertilization, the cell, the zygote starts dividing to create more cells. So the process where the cells are dividing to create 2 cells, that is what is known as the mitosis altogether. So we call it mitosis. Very good. So here B says suggest the part of the female body, suggest the part of the female reproductive organ in which process 1 takes place. Okay, so where does fertilization take place? In the female reproductive system. So the part of the female reproductive organ where fertilization takes place. Very good, guys. So yes, fertilization will actually take place where? In the fallopian tube or oviduct altogether. So it will take place in the fallopian tube. That is where fertilization will do what? Will take place. Excellent work, guys. that is the correct what answer. So to take place inside the fallopian tube. All right, so far so good. That is good to hear. All right, so next we move on to part C. So part C says explain what happens at stage R for identical twins to be what produced. Okay, so R, that is where we have a bunch of cells. Okay, so what needs to take place at R for us to produce identical twins? Okay, yes, very good, guys. So for identical twins to actually be produced, the cells in cell R will actually divide or split into two balls of what cells. So those two balls of cells which are then formed are what will then develop into identical what twins altogether. So you find that instead of the cells keep on multiplying, the ball of cells ends up splitting to create two what cells. So the cell splits, forming two balls of what cells. So that is how identical twins will be what produced. So when the blastocyte splits to create two balls, those two balls of cell now grow to be identical twins. Very good. All right, so next we move on to question number D. So number D says describe two situations which can result in infertility and causes process 1 not to take what place. So infertility which will cause fertilization not to take place. So this is what we were looking at yesterday. I hope you remember yesterday there was an essay where we are writing on infertility. I hope you do remember. So what did we say are the causes of infertility? Okay, so in males, infertility will be caused by low sperm count altogether. That can also lead to where sperms are actually being produced which are less. And in females, we said if ovulation is not taking place, that can lead to what? Infertility. So process 1, so fertilization can take place if there's low sperm count and there's no ovulation taking what place. So infertility can be caused by low sperm count and the ovulation disorders, mean that no ovulation is taking what place, will actually lead to fertilization not occurring. So this is the solution to part what D. Okay, are we clear on that? All right, that's good to know. Excellent work, guys. Otherwise, please let's keep it up. We are doing so well. Keep the comments coming. Really enjoying the energy you are giving today. Very good. Yes, so also smoking was one of them we mentioned. Alcoholism altogether, blockage of the oviduct. Very good. All those are correct what answers. Well done, guys. So those were, so any of those which we mentioned will all lead to what? Infertility not taking what place. So don't forget, all these are, there are so many causes of infertility. So here we're just choosing any two altogether. So you can mention to say alcoholism is fine. No, so you find alcoholism is okay altogether. So all those are correct what answers. All right. So next we will then move on to the next question. So this was question number 3. So how was this question? Was it difficult? Okay, that's good to know. All right, guys. Okay, now moving on to question number 4. So question number 4 says figure 4.0 shows the muscles and the bones of the forearm of a human being. Altogether, so we have bones and we have muscles. So we have bone S, muscle T, muscle R, bone U. Okay, so this is figure 4.0. All right, so question number 8 says identify muscle T and bone U. Okay, so what is muscle T and what is bone U? Okay, so we start with the muscle. Okay, so what is muscle T? What is muscle T? Very good, guys. Muscle T is the triceps altogether. So the muscle which is found under that is the triceps altogether. So the triceps, that is the muscle T. How about bone U? So bone, the bones which we have on the lower arm, what do we call this bone here? Yes, guys? What will be bone U? Very good. So bone U is the ulna. Excellent work, guys. That is bone U. So those are the muscle T is the tricep, bone U is the ulna. All right, let's move on to B1. B1 says, what name is given to the pair of muscles T and R? What name is given to the pair of muscles T and R? Yes, guys, what is the pair of muscles T and R? Very good. So pairs of muscles T and R are simply antagonistic what? Muscles altogether. So refer to those as antagonistic what? Muscles. I think this is not the first time we're looking at this one. I think we also looked at this one under the GCE 2016 paper, where we're looking at the skeleton and the skeleton of the insect, where we had the muscles R and S, I think. So here it says number 2, we go to 2, we are saying name one other such pair of muscles in the human body. So name one other such pair of muscles in the human body. So which other pair of antagonistic muscles do we have in the human body? Very good, guys. So antagonistic muscles can be found in the iris and the digestive system. So in the iris, we have the circular and radial muscles of the iris altogether. Or you can go for circular and longitudinal muscles of the esophagus. Those are the ones which cause the peristalsis. Radial and circular muscles will cause the pupil reflex. Well done, guys. That is very, very correct. Excellent way, guys. All right. Moving on to the next part, which will be part C. So part C says label on figure 4.0 where you find the A, the tendon, and the 2 pivot joint. Okay, so we go back to our diagram altogether. So we want to label our tendon altogether. So we want to label the tendon. Okay, so tendon and also the pivot joint. Okay, so we need to label the tendon. So what you have to remember is that the tendon is always the one which joins a muscle to a what? To a bone altogether. So where do we see the part labeling the muscle to the bone? This part here, or even this part here is also a tendon altogether. So there are so many tendons around. We also have this one, it's also another tendon. Down here also have a tendon. So next we now want to label the pivot joint. So the pivot joint is the same as the hinge joint, so that is where we find the pivot joint. So that is where we label the tendon and also the pivot joint. Very good, guys. Okay, so next we now move on to question number D. So question D says give 2 ways in which skeletal muscles of an insect differ from the skeletal muscles of a human being. So how are skeletal muscles in an insect different to skeletal muscles in humans? Yes, guys. So how are skeletal muscles different? Very good, guys. So how are skeletal muscles different from skeletal muscles in human beings? Yes, guys. So here we can simply say in insects muscles are internally attached, while in humans muscles are externally attached. So in insects the muscles are attached inside the skeleton. but in humans the muscles are attached where? Outside the skeleton. So these ones, the skeleton will be inside, so muscles are attached where? Internally. So for when you come to humans, we are saying in insects muscles are internally attached, while in humans muscles are externally attached altogether. So that is one of the differences. Then the other difference is that in the insects there's no tendons altogether, because tendons attach muscle to bone, but in humans tendons are what? Present. Very good. So that is the other difference. In insects muscles have no tendons, while in humans tendons are present. So that is the difference altogether. So these are the differences, two differences which we have of the muscles in skeletons and the muscles in humans. Okay, we move on to part E. So part E says identify bone S. Okay, so what is the bone S? The one which appears like a shovel, the big one which we had there. So we had then the joint down here. Okay, sorry, this is not coming out nice. Okay, so this was our S sign. Okay, so what is the bone S? Yes guys, what's bone S? Very good. Yes, bone S is the scapula out here. So that is the bone you have on the back of your shoulder. So the shoulder blade which we have at the back, that is what we call the scapula. So that was the answer to question number E. Very good guys. So that is how you answer that question. So having answered that question brings us to the end of question number 4 altogether. So I hope question number 4 was also very easy. You didn't find any challenges with this question. Very good. Yes. Excellent work guys. Very good. So that is question number 4. That's good to know that at least the question was a bit fair. Okay, all right, so moving on to question number 5 now. So question number 5 says two farmers, one with a pure breeding black bull and the other, two farmers, one with a pure breeding black bull and the other with a pure breeding white cow, decided to cross their cattle. The black bull was crossed with a white cow, and all the resulting offspring had a coat color called rum altogether. So B says using letters B for the allele black color, black coat color, and W for the allele for white coat color. So A says show the genotype of the offspring. Okay, so what will be the genotype of the offspring? So here the black bull and white cow produced the rum cows. Okay, so using the letter B for black allele and W for the allele for white, show the genotype of the offspring. Okay, so here what is the genotype of the first offspring? Remember, whenever we get the first offspring, that is F19. Okay, so here we have B and the W. So what will be the genotype? Very good guys. So here the genotype will be BW. That will be the genotype of the what? The offspring, because we have black and the white. So here the letters have been given to us. So we have capital B and the capital W. So the pair of the children will be heterozygous altogether. So 2 says explain why neither the bull nor the cow had their coat color expressed in the phenotype of the offspring. Because what we are having is the rum what color. Okay, so we are not seeing here black and white. Yes, guys. So why are we not seeing the black color, and why are we not seeing the white color in this case? Yes, guys, very good. So here we don't see, we get a new color which is ROM. Once you get a color which is in between black and white, we refer to that as the incomplete dominance altogether. So since the offspring have heterozygous trait, they are going to have an incomplete what? Dominant. So the characteristic is incomplete dominant, hence both alleles are not expressed in heterozygous what state. Okay, so here we're supposed to have are not. Okay, let me edit this one again. Okay, let me edit a bit. All right, so that we say here they are not what expressed. Okay, so remember, I always say when you see both colors, that is the co-dominant sign. So if you see both the black and white, we call it co-dominance. If the colors create a mixture, that is what is known as the incomplete what dominant sign. So that is also something you have to keep in mind whenever we are dealing with genetic what processing. So the genotype for the offspring is BW. Then we are saying the characteristic is incomplete dominant, hence both alleles are not expressed in the heterozygous what state. I hope that is clear. Very good. All right, so next we move on to question number B. Using a genetic diagram, predict the chances of second filial, because we are crossing again. The second filial offspring having a rom coat color when the parent black bull was crossed with the one of the rom offspring. So we are crossing black bull and a rom offspring. So what are we going to get now? Okay, so whenever we are going to write a genetic cross diagram, remember I said there are how many steps? How many steps do we need to follow in the genetic cross diagram, guys? Very good. Yes, there are 5 steps. So step number 1, we write the parental phenotype. So parental phenotype, what are we crossing? The black bull being crossed with the roan what? Cow. Black bull with the roan cow. Okay. Then we go to step number 2. What do we write in step number 2? Parental genotype. So black bull will be BB because this is a pure breed. Then roan is BW. Now together, that will be our step number 2. Then what follows now as step number 3? Yes, guys. Very good. What will be step number 3? Well done. Yes, I can see you guys we've been following. Guess the lessons are helping. Yes, excellent. The next step will be the gametes. So what do we do with the gametes? We separate them. So we write our B and B, write our B and D, W. Then we cross. So this one will cross with this one, you get BB. This one will cross with this one. This one will cross with that one. This one will cross with that one. So once we are crossing, remember, this is the next time. So we got offsprings number 1. This is number 2 getting offspring. So this is number 2. It becomes the F2. How together? So it says the F2 offspring genotype. How together? So what do we get? This one will be black. This one will be pure breed, heterozygous, pure breed, heterozygous. How together? So what do we get now as our colors? So we now write our F2 offspring phenotype. So we are going to have a black calf, rom calf, black calf, rom calf. All together. So what is the chance of us getting a roan coat? So what are the chances of us getting a roan coat? So from our cross now, we need to predict the chance altogether, or the probability of getting roan. So we have how many roan cows? We have 2, and how many black? We have 2. So we have 2 to 2, which is 1 to 1 altogether. So meaning that the chance probability will simply be what? Half altogether. So the probability of the chance of us getting the second failure being roam caught, the probability is simply what? Half altogether, because the total is 4 altogether. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So then how many roan do we have? We have 1, 2. So this one is 2 over 4. So 2 over 4, we simplify, it becomes 1 over what? 2. So that's why here we are saying the probability is what? Half. So that is how we write our genetic cross diagram. So how was this genetic cross? Was it difficult than the one we did yesterday? Very good, guys. Good to know. Don't worry, we are still improving, and we still have some more to look at, so that will actually help us see out. Excellent work, guys. That is the correct answer. So next, in case you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. So before we move on to the last bit, okay, so we are done with the section A. We now move on to section B out here. So I hope the first section of the paper was okay. You have to see how the questions were. So long as you at least you have studied, you'll be okay when the questions come in. All right, so we move on to section B. So section B, this is our essay question. So we're supposed to provide our answer in complete sentences and the paragraphs out together. So we have question number 6, which says explain the meaning of each of the following terms. 1, good health. 2, disease altogether. Then B, with named examples, explain the following types of diseases. 1, pathogenic diseases. 2, social diseases altogether. So first we have to look at to say what is health. Okay, yes guys, so what is health? Very good, guys. What is health? Very good. So how about a disease? What is a disease? Okay. Okay, so unfortunately for this one, they were asking for the chance out here, so meaning that here the percent was actually rejected. So here what was needed was simply for you to write the chance. You can say 1 to 1, it's fine altogether, or you say half, it's okay. So 1 to 1 was okay. Percentage was rejected because the question was asking you for the chance. Okay, excellent work, guys. Yes, so good health is the absence of disease. Now what about disease? What is a disease? Very good. State of mental well-being. Very good. Condition of being unhealthy. Yes, that is a disease. Condition of being what? Unhealthy altogether. How about a pathogenic disease? Yes, guys. How about the pathogenic disease? What is it? Okay. That's very good. Okay. So it's not codominance. Codominance has both colors. So if you are codominance, you see black and white. A black and white cow, that is codominance. But if the colors are sort of mixed, when the colors mix, we refer to this as incomplete dominance. Okay, so that's the difference between codominance and the incomplete dominance. So for example, if you have white flower and red flower and the color you get is pink, that is what is known as the incomplete dominance. Huh? Okay. Yes, guys. Very good. Okay, so I hope we are clear on codominance and the incomplete dominance side. So codominance, you see both colors, black and white, co together. So that's what I say, cooperation together. So if both colors are there, that is fine. Okay. All right. So well done, guys. So you've mentioned nicely what a health is, what a disease is, what pathogenic disease, and what social diseases are. So here we're supposed to give examples. I've not seen any examples in the chat. What example of pathogenic disease do we have before I move on to the essay? Example of a pathogenic disease and example of a social disease. Okay. All right. Very good, guys. All right. Excellent way, guys. All right. So let's look at the essay. So we are saying A, good health is the physical, mental. It seems I like chemistry a lot. I've written mental. All right. Let me change this one. It's supposed to be mental, not mental. Mental and social well-being of an individual. It is caused by having a balanced diet. So when you are enjoying your nice food, you'll be able to have good health. Apart from that, also where we have also appropriate physical and mental activity. So it means that for you to be healthy, your body should be well. You should be feeling nice, physical, no pain. You are healthy. Also your mental, your head, how you are thinking about, that means that you are okay. So if you have a problem and you are worried to say, no, this is the end for me, I can't live anymore, then meaning that you have a mental problem, meaning that you are not healthy. Even if your body looks fine, but the way you are thinking is not correct, it means that you have a serious problem. Then we also have social well-being, meaning that you also need to have friends. So how are you faring in society? If you find that you are not making friends or you don't have friends, mean that you are also unwell altogether. So mean that you need to have friends around. So that's how we remain healthy. So next we have a disease. So we are saying a disease is the loss of good health resulting from disturbances from the normal processes of the body, resulting in disturbances of the normal processes of the body. So it is caused by pathogens altogether, lack of a balanced diet, and inherited from carrier parents. So mean that the disease can actually even be inherited. So you can get it from a pathogen. Okay, I think we looked at pathogen in yesterday's lesson. I hope you remember. So then we are also saying that a disease can also be caused by lack of a balanced diet. So that's why it's very important to have a good balanced diet. Okay. Okay, I hope that is clear on what a disease is and what a good health is. Alright, so I've made just a few corrections. So I say good health is the physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual. It is caused by having a balanced diet, appropriate physical and mental activities. Disease is the loss of good health resulting in disturbances of the normal processes of the body. It is caused by pathogens, lack of balanced diet, and inherited from carrier parents. Like for example, hemophilia, that is genetic. Sickle cell anemia is inherited from carrier parents. Okay, so next we move on to number 2. So number 2, we said pathogenic diseases are diseases that are caused by pathogens altogether, such as bacteria, viruses, hematites, which are flatworms, protozoa, for example, malaria, and the fungi, they end up causing ringworms. So pathogenic diseases cause pathogens cause diseases such as polio, altogether measles, malaria, yellow fever, cancer, HIV or AIDS, cholera, tuberculosis, mumps, chickenpox. So here I was expecting that you guys would mention, for example, COVID. Yes, that is a pathogenic disease, because that is the disease we are talking about almost every day. Even which one is now common now? I think there's now monkeypox. I don't know if you guys have heard it altogether. So those are all pathogenic diseases. Now, when you come to social diseases, these are diseases which are self-inflicted, mean that you cause the disease yourself altogether. So social diseases are wholly dependent on the behavioral factors altogether. So these are diseases which you, due to the activities you are doing, you'll be able to get the social disease. So common diseases, for example, is drug addiction altogether. So where now people become junkies altogether, because they are the ones who are injecting the drugs on their own altogether, because they want to be cool altogether, to actually be, so I know, say we smoke, we what, you end up becoming what, addicted to cigarettes. So no, me, I drink, mean that makes you now become addicted to beer. So drug addiction is one of them. Also lung cancer due to smoking what, cigarettes. You can also have skin cancer. So you said, no, me, because I want to appear a certain color, you start applying those lightening creams. That's why the government ended up banning them, because those end up causing skin cancer, because as you apply those skins, it ends up now damaging your skin. Also gout, because you are eating a lot of meat. So if you are eating a lot of meat and you are not a bodybuilder, you are not trying to win Mr. Zambia's competition, you end up getting gout. So don't eat too much meat. You can also end up with coronary heart disease by eating foods which contain a lot of sugars, carbohydrates, end up making a lot of fats in your body. So those will end up clogging your arteries, causing you to do to die. Also high blood pressure and the degeneration of the liver. This is the same as the cirrhosis, because of drinking too much alcohol. Because people even know that alcohol kills the liver. You even find people even saying, no, today is Friday, liver, where they even say we go and burn the liver, because that is now a social disease which is self-inflicted. So this is how you present your essay altogether. You mention the disease, what it's doing, and you also give examples. Okay, so that is the correct answer. All right, moving on to question number 7. Okay, so question number 7 says, describe the mechanisms involved in the movement of water molecules from the soil up to the leaves in the plants altogether. Then B says, explain the uses of water in plants. Then C, explain how a leaf is adapted to prevent excess loss of water. So we start with question number 7. So how is the water absorbed in the soil? Yes, guys. So how is water absorbed in the soil? Yes, guys. So how is water absorbed? Very good. Okay. So through osmosis. Excellent. Very good, guys. Yes, water is absorbed through osmosis. Very good. So what are the uses of water in plants? Uses of water in plants? Okay. Very good, guys. Yes. What do we use water for in plants? Through transpiration. Very good. Transpiration pool. Yes, very good. Through osmosis. That's very good. Okay. So next we have uses of water. Next we are talking about explain how a leaf is adapted for excess excretion. Adapted for prevention of excess water. All right. Very good. Those are very good answers. Excellent way, guys. All right. So we'll start with question number 1. So when you're talking about movement of water, you first start with how water will start from the soil, go into the plant, and then move into the stem, then go to the leaves. That is how you explain. So we start with question number A. So we are saying water and mineral salts are absorbed by roots, which are found near the tips of roots. Altogether, so we have root hairs. So a root hair cell absorbs water by osmosis and the mineral salts by active water transport. Altogether, so after being absorbed, water moves from the root hair cell to the xylem using three possible routes, namely apoplastic, symplastic, and the vacuole route altogether. So apoplastic, this is where the movement is from cell wall to cell wall. Symplastic is movement through the cytoplasm to cytoplasm, and vacuole route is through the vacuole to vacuole altogether. So the movement of water from the cell to cell is due to osmosis and transpiration water pool altogether. Then water moves up the plant through the xylem vessels in a continuous stream known as the transpiration stream altogether. The forces responsible for the movement of water in the transpiration stream are transpiration, capillarity, root pressure, and the guttation. So that is how water will end up reaching the water, the leaves altogether. So that is how we mention essay on movement of water. So we mention how water is absorbed by the roots. How does water move in the root? By osmosis, cell to cell. Then how does water move in the stem? By transpiration stream using capillarity, transpiration pool, root pressure, and the guttation. All right, moving on to part B, which is the use of water. So water has many uses in plants. It is an universal water solvent altogether. So this is a universal solvent. It's able to absorb both organic and inorganic substances, hence used in transporting what? Nutrients. So that is the function of water. It's for transporting nutrients. So it is also a reactant in the process of photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is a process by which plants produce glucose using carbon dioxide and the water. Then it also provides support in a turgid cell. So when the cells are turgid, the plant is able to have support. So apart from that, it also creates a cooling water effect during transpiration. So as the plant is losing water, it's able to cool itself water down. So these are the uses of water. You can mention to say it's a universal solvent. It's used for transporting. It's a reactant in photosynthesis. Then it also provides support and also creates a cooling water effect. All right. Then we move on to part C. So part C says plants can be adapted to reduce the rate of transpiration by having xeromorphic features, which include the following. 1. Presence of thick waxy cuticle. Like for example, the aloe vera has got very thick leaves. Then apart from that, we have sunken stomata, and we have reduced leaf sizes. Like for example, pine leaves, they've got needle-shaped leaves. Then we also have leaves which have got hairs on the lower side. Like for example, if you look at the pumpkin leaves, the chihuahua, it has leaves on the lower side. So those hairs are there to prevent water loss altogether. So then apart from that, leaves can also roll up when water is scarce altogether. So for example, we've seen that, for example, maize, when there's less water, the leaves start rolling up. That is for them to save water. So this is how you present your essay for question number 7. Okay, very good, guys. Yes, so you mentioned photosynthesis, making food. That's very good for plants to grow. Yes. Okay, so capillarity is the process by which water moves up the xylem vessels by using two forces, cohesive forces and adhesive forces. But osmosis is simply where water moves from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution across a selectively permeable water membrane. So we have osmosis and we have capillarity. So for example, if you get a piece of paper, you dip it in water, water will start climbing up the paper. That is capillarity altogether. But osmosis is the movement between two solutions, a dilute one and a concentrated one. All right, very good. So that is question number 7. Let's move on to question number 8. Okay, we are almost there. So question number 8 says describe the functions of the forebrain and the hindbrain. Then 2, describe the effects of abuse of drugs on the nervous system. Then C, explain the effects of tetanus infection in human beings. Okay, so we start with question number 8. So which parts make up the forebrain? Okay, so which part will make up the forebrain, guys? Okay, so which parts will be making up the forebrain? Okay, okay, very good. How about the hindbrain? Which parts will make up the hindbrain? Yes, you are right. Yes, those are the parts. Okay, how about B? What is the effect of drugs on the nervous system? Yes, you are right. The forebrain, we have the cerebrium. Cerebrium, that's very good. Excellent work, guys. How about the hindbrain? Which part make up the hindbrain, the back of the brain? Excellent work, guys. Yes, the hypothalamus is one of them. Okay, very good. So we have the cerebrum making up the forebrain, hypothalamus making up the yes, the hypothalamus is also part of the forebrain. Okay, medulla oblongata, yes, the hindbrain medulla. That's very good. Okay, so what is the effect of drugs on the nervous system? Okay, very good. Yes, slows down the nervous system. Yes, that's very good. Okay, all right, that is very good. Excellent work, guys. Okay, how about C? What is the effect of tetanus? The effect of tetanus in human beings. Okay, it's good to see, guys. Excellent work, guys. Nice work. I'm seeing medulla. Okay, well done, guys. That's very good. Okay, so I can see we know at least which one is the forebrain, which one is the hindbrain. Now I just want the last part. If someone has tetanus, what will be the effect? Okay, very good. Yes, well done, guys. Really enjoyed the energy you are giving in the charts. Please, let's keep that up. Excellent. All right, so let's see how we can present the answers on this essay. So we can say the forebrain A1, the forebrain consists of the following parts: cerebrium, pituitary gland, hypothalamus. So there are three parts which make up the forebrain. The cerebrium is the site for intelligence. This is what actually makes you intelligent. So memory, for you to be able to remember what we were doing yesterday, what you did a long time ago, all that is kept in the cerebrium altogether. So apart from that, also the language, for us to be able to actually talk and how together. So that's why people normally say, no, this person has got a kind heart, but actually you're conscious. What makes you who you are, your kindness to other people, is actually in the cerebrium. So people are always busy praising your heart to say, no, you are very kind-hearted, but it's actually, or your kindness is actually coming from your your cerebrium. So the next part which we have is the hypothalamus. So this is sometimes also regarded as the center for homeostasis. So this is the one which actually controls, for example, thirst. Okay, we've seen me busy drinking water. That is all being processed in the hypothalamus. Also, thermoregulation. Now that we are cold, it's very cold now, for us to actually keep our bodies warm, that is all being controlled in the hypothalamus. The other part we have is the pituitary gland, and this one links the central nervous system and the endocrine system. So I can also mention here to say this is the master gland. Then number 2, the hindbrain is made up of two parts: medulla oblongata and the cerebellum altogether. Medulla oblongata controls automatic processes such as the heart rate. So for your heart to be pumping fast or slow, that is done by the medulla oblongata. Breathing rate also is done by the medulla oblongata. Swallowing, because when you are chewing, you don't think about it. So this is automatic. You just swallow, you just chew, and you find yourself you have swallowed. Salivating, you don't think to say, okay, now this piece of chicken looks delicious. You let me make my mouth watery. You just find your mouth is already watery. So apart from that, also sneezing, you don't think about sneezing. It just comes and you also cough. That is all done by the medulla oblongata. So be careful when you're listening to most of these songs around you. Normally you find musicians might be saying, say, no, use your medulla. Actually, we don't use medulla oblongata for thinking. We use the cerebrum. I know musicians like the word medulla because medulla oblongata sounds very nice altogether. So actually this one, you are using it for heart rate. Then the part of the brain which we have, the last part of the brain is the cerebellum, and this one controls the coordinated movement. Helps maintain posture and also controls the sequence of activities involved in dancing. So when the music is nice, you are listening to the nice song by your mumps, for you to be moving nicely, that is done by the cerebellum altogether. So I don't know if you are doing your chimwemwe dance. I don't know which dances are now very common. The last one I heard was chimwemwe dance was very happening a lot. So dancing, acrobatics, if you are doing somersaults altogether, or playing a musical instrument, because you're playing your guitar, you need your hands and the feet to move. For example, drummers, that you need the cerebellum, or basically controlling what muscles. So that was these were the solutions to the first part of the question. So we now move on to part B. So part B, we have depressants like heroin altogether. These ones will slow down the rate of impulse transmission in the nervous system. They destroy nerve cells. So you find that if someone is taking heroin, the cells in the brain will end up being killed altogether. So apart from that, it increases the reaction time. So someone becomes slower altogether. So apart from that, we also have stimulants like the impulse transmission in the nervous system. So stimulants also increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. It can actually lead to a heart attack, such as hypertension and coronary heart disease. Prolonged use can lead to dependency and liver damage. So those who are using, for example, stimulants like cocaine and codeine, they end up becoming dependent altogether. That's why even here, if someone becomes addicted without a drug, they become sick. So for example, that's why you normally hear Ndinema mentioning to say, no, tikudwalire. Because those guys, if they don't take the drugs, they actually fall sick, as if they've got malaria, even vomiting and diarrhea, because of not taking these drugs. So then when someone takes an overdose, they can actually cause death altogether. So that can be a problem. So this is the effect of drugs on the nervous system. So on this essay, you explain what depressants are doing. You also explain what stimulants are also doing. All right. Moving on to part C. So part C, tetanus is actually an infection caused by the bacterium called the Clostridium tetanus altogether. So this one is a bacteria which you're normally going to find buried in soil or around sharp objects. So it is characterized by sustained contraction of muscles, which leads to stiffening of the body. So you find that someone, if they have tetanus, their arms will actually start locking. The jaw can actually lock where a person fails to open their mouth. It just locks and the muscle becomes stiff. And it can also lead to muscle spasms altogether. So now people might be thinking, no, maybe someone has demons. No, it might be because they're suffering from tetanus, where someone falls on the ground and they start having fits. Okay, so this one we also have fits, for example, in epilepsy, but for tetanus, someone's jaw actually locks. That is actually becomes a problem. So individuals who have deep cuts from dirty objects on their bodies are at high risk of tetanus. So that's why it's very important. As a result, they are given anti-tetanus injections which contain antibodies that counter the effects of tetanus. So that's why we find that we even talked about this yesterday, to say pregnant mothers for self-childbirth, tetanus injection has to be given. I hope you remember, guys. All right. So this was the solutions to our question involving the nervous system. Okay. Very good. Yes. Okay. All right. Very good, guys. So we move on to question number 9. We are almost done. I hope we are still there. Okay, so question number 1 says, explain the meaning of osmoregulation. So what is osmoregulation? Yes, very good. Yes, drugs balance will also be affected due to drugs. Yes, that is also one of the effects. Okay, I hope the network improves. So drugs do not have a problem when taken in small amounts, but those same small amounts will actually lead you to become what? Addicted. That's why you find that these guys who are selling my drugs, they will actually be giving you for free. Pasa koche pangono, you try to say, no, try this. Just like a bit you take. So as you are taking the same small amount of drug, then they know that once you become addicted, you become a very good what? Customer. Now together. So that's why if you said, I know, makoken, zaka isa koche pangono. Or maybe this drug, I'll just try a bit. After you take just to my sample, in Shwagwirika, now you have become what? Addicted. So that's why you just make sure you have to keep away. Otherwise, immediately you just say, okay, let me just try a bit. Once your body gets a few of that chemical, it will want to have the chemical again. Okay. So what is osmoregulation, guys? Very good. Okay, so how about how does the skin regulate body temperature in a cold day and a hot day? Control of the amount of water. Yes, very good, Jimmy. That's good. Yes, control of the amount of water. Okay. All right, very good. So when it's cold, what does the skin do to keep us warm? So when it's cold, what does the skin do to keep us warm? Yes, don't try. Otherwise, when you try most of these drugs, you will find your body doesn't want them because they are not good for the body. Okay. Osmoregulation. We are dealing with the water. So osmo is coming from osmosis. So it's mostly dealing with water. So temperature, that is the thermoregulation. So we have thermoregulation and osmoregulation. But here the question was just asking for osmoregulation. Yes, very good. Yes, Hannah. Cold day, we have vasoconstriction. Yes, vasoconstriction occurs when it's cold time. How about on a hot day? Excellent work. Very good. Makina, very good. Yes, on a hot day by sweating. Yes, that's very good. Excellent work, guys. All right. So these are what will basically happen when we have. So osmoregulation will be the maintenance of water levels, and this will be done by which organ? Very good. Yes, it's done by the kidney. All right. So let's now present the essay for this question. So part A, we'll simply write osmoregulation is the regulation of water levels in the body, in body fluids by the kidneys. Altogether. So osmoregulation is under the control of the what? The hypothalamus, part of the brain. Remember what we were looking at earlier when we were answering on the forebrain and hindbrain. We said that hypothalamus is the center for homeostasis. Okay, so remember, osmoregulation is the regulation of water levels in body fluids by the kidneys. So osmoregulation is under the control of the hypothalamus, part of the what? The brain. So let's now look at how the skin is able to balance temperatures. Okay, so in cold temperatures, the skin reduces the loss of heat in the following ways. Erectile muscles contract, pulling the hairs upright. Now together. So the erect hairs trap a layer of air which insulates the skin against heat loss. The contraction of hair erectile muscles leads to development of goosebumps on the skin in cold weather. That's why you find that, for example, after coming out of the shower, after bathing, you might develop more like a rash on your skin, like a cold rash. Those are what we refer to as goosebumps. That is because now your hairs are actually standing upright altogether. Then another thing which will occur is that the shunt vessels are going to open altogether. So when shunt vessels open, they reduce the amount of water passing through the superficial vessels near the skin. So this reduces heat, and it will end up causing vasoconstriction, which will be the narrowing of the skin arterioles altogether. So this normally happens when shunt vessels open. So I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, for example, when you are bathing, you are in water, your skin actually starts dropping altogether. You appear as if you have become old altogether. That is because the shunt vessels have opened and the vasoconstriction is taking place altogether. So that's why you find that your skin does not have more blood, because you don't want to lose heat due to being in water. So the next thing you're going to have is that the sweat glands become less temperatures altogether. Erectile muscles will contract, shunt hairs will lie flat altogether, shunt vessels will open, vasoconstriction will take place, and sweat glands become inactive. That is what you're supposed to remember on this part. Okay, so when we are in a hot temperatures or on a hot day, the skin promotes the loss of heat in the following ways altogether. Erectile muscles relax, causing the hairs to lie flat altogether. So this increases heat loss from the body by conduction, since no layer of still hair, still air flows. So here there are a lot of hairs and air, so you have to be careful with the H and the R. Okay, so we are saying no layer of still air forms. So then we are having here to say we have shunt vessels open, allowing more blood to pass through the superficial vessels near the surface of the skin. So this increases heat loss from the body altogether. Then vasodilation will occur, where we have widening of the skin arterioles occurs, increasing the amount of blood flow flowing near the skin. So this allows more heat to be lost from the body by conduction. Then sweat glands become more active, producing sweat. So the water in sweat absorbs heat from the body in order to evaporate, thereby cooling the body. So this is what happens when it's hot. So what happens when it's hot? Erectile muscles relax, hairs lie flat, shunt vessels open, then we have vasodilation altogether. Then sweating takes place. So that is how we keep quiet. So this is how you present your answer in the essay form for when they ask you about how the body is kept properly when it's hot or cold. Okay. All right, moving on now to the last part, which is question number 10. So question number 10, this was under ecology altogether. So question number 10 says here, describe the undesired effects of pollution. Then B, this suggests measures that could be taken to prevent pollution. So what bad things does pollution create? Very good, guys. So I can see you left a lot of good answers. Yes, we are saying on a hot day by sweating, maintenance of body temperature. Cold days, sweat glands contract. So here you simply say sweat glands become active. Very good. In cold day, there is vasoconstriction. Yes, very good. The hairs stand on the skin. Yes, that occurs when it's cold. Your hairs stand upright, causing goosebumps. Then in a hot day, there is vasodilation. Very good. Yes, vasoconstriction. Yes, sweat glands become active on a hot day. Very good. Okay. Oh yes. Oh, there's still Chimwemwe dance. Okay, that's good to know. Regulation of water levels in the body temperature. Okay, now here when you're talking about osmosis, don't add the temperature. Osmoregulation is just about water. So no, you see, when you come to essays, they shouldn't always be long. So long as the points are written, you are okay. So make sure at least you are precise and straight to the point. Okay. Okay, very good. So accumulation of carbon monoxide, yes. So we want to say the undesired effect. So if there's carbon monoxide, what bad thing is it taking? What is happening? Okay, make soil acidic. Yes, very good. Yes, it will make the soil acidic. That's very good. Okay, yes, that is one undesired effect. Okay, any other, guys? We are saying pollution will make the soil acidic. Yes, that is very correct. It will make the soil acidic. Any undesired effect? We're almost there, guys. Okay, so next we have part B. Okay, we can move to B. Suggest how can we prevent pollution. Okay, very good. All right, excellent way, guys. So here, when you come to the essay writing, we'll start with part A. So water pollution due to untreated raw sewage makes water unsafe to drink. Altogether, some microorganisms present in sewage are pathogenic and may cause diseases such as cholera, dysentery, and typhoid. Altogether. So then we can have decomposition of organic components in sewage leads to high levels of phosphates and nitrates, which cause eutrophication. So this lowers the amount of oxygen in water and may result in the death of fish. So that is the undesired effect of water pollution. Then when you come to air pollution, due to industrial emissions, it causes acid rain. So acid rain, it damages plant leaves, resulting in excess transpiration, killing the plants, and corrodes buildings. Then greenhouse gases, like for example carbon dioxide, cause global warming. So those are undesired effects of air pollution. Then for those for carbon monoxide, if there's carbon monoxide, it causes low transport of oxygen in the body, which leads to suffocation, and it can actually cause animals to do what? To die. So when you come to land pollution caused by non-biodegradable substances like plastics, it makes soil infertile. Then garbage will act as a breeding site for pathogens and their vectors. So for example, that is where flies will be growing altogether. Then it may also contain poisonous substances and give the air an unpleasant smell. So if there's garbage being around where garbage is rotting, the air actually does not smell nice. Then land pollution can also be done by heavy metals like lead and mercury. These cannot be excreted by the body of organisms and are poisonous when they reach certain levels by bioaccumulation. This occurs when, for example, if mercury or lead goes into the soil, the plants will absorb the soil. Then when the plant has grown, the grasshopper will eat the leaves, meaning that it will eat the mercury as well or the lead. Then when the grasshopper is eaten by a chicken, the chicken also takes in the mercury. Then you, when you come and eat the chicken has got more mercury. So you, when you eat the chicken, you end up dying altogether. So that is what will end up to leading to death of higher predators. So as food moves up the food chain, immediately the higher predator eats, it also dies from food poisoning. So that is so these are the undesired effects of land pollution, air pollution, and water pollution. Very good, guys. Next we go to question number B. So B says, how do we prevent pollution? So pollution can be prevented of raw sewage before releasing it into streams. Then apart from that, waste management and recycling, very, very important. That's why it's important that even in town, we shouldn't be just throwing our plastic bottles all over. That is creating pollution. That's why we have to make sure our waste is properly managed, taken to a dump site where it is recycled. Then apart from that, also installing filters in industrial chimneys. So before factories just release their gases, they need to put filters so that they are able to trap the harmful gases. Then apart from that, also conversion of sulfur dioxide gas to sulfuric acid by passing it through water tanks. So you don't want the sulfur to go into the atmosphere, otherwise it will end up causing acid rain. Then for motor vehicles, they have to be fitted with a catalytic converter to avoid emission of nitrogen oxides. So these will also cause smog, and they can also cause acid rain. So these are the solutions to question number 10. So I hope this question was okay. Very good, guys. So I can see we've put our answers nicely. So yes, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Yes, that will also work. Very good. So we can have also droughts. Very good, because if the trees are poisoned by acid rain, it can lead to affecting the rain cycle. Very good. So we are saying, okay. Okay, so yes, when you're answering section B, it's fine, you can define, even if the question is saying then you explain. Yes, at least an explanation to be given. Okay, very good. All right, so these are the answers which we can give in section B. So when you're done with section B, don't forget to fill in this table, which is the front page of your question paper. So here, when you are done, it says fasten your answer booklet and secure it. Then this point number 2, very important. Enter the question number of section B you have answered in the grid on the bottom right side corner. Altogether, so this is where you fill in your answers. So if the first question you answered is in section B is 10, so you can start with any question. Don't answer the questions in order. Start with the one which you know the most. So you can put here your 10 as the first one you answered altogether. If the next question you answered was 6, you can put your 6 here. Then if the next question you answered was 7, you can write your 7 here. So make sure you fill in this part before you hand in your question paper altogether, guys. So let's make sure that when you are handing in, you're able to fill this one in. Okay. All right. So that is what I had for us for this lesson today. Otherwise, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope we enjoyed ourselves just like I did. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here all the way up to the end. Altogether. All right. So yes, I also do chemistry. So in case maybe you guys are interested in chemistry will also be available. But it depends on how much support I'm able to have from you guys. Like I mentioned to say, if you are the channel is not being supported, we are not moving or growing, then it's very difficult for me to continue and continue bringing you guys more lessons. So otherwise, that's why all this is all done with your help altogether. So otherwise, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for being here all the way up to the end. Otherwise, thank you for being here all the way up to the end. I know we might have had some challenges with network. So that is what at least we are able to be here all the way. Otherwise, guys, we'll end the stream today now. So thank you so much again for being here. So I'll see you tomorrow in the next paper, where we'll now look at the 2018 GCE paper altogether. So we'll see how the questions came in 2018. All right. So thank you so much, guys. Have a pleasant evening and stay blessed. I'll see you tomorrow.